couple of minutes here.
Tell who you are.
I'm Andy. I'm the #1 son. It goes A, B, C, and I'm the only vowel. You can't make a word unless you have me. It's all downhill after that. So here's #2 right here. He's a solid #2.
I am Barry. I'm the #2 son. I want to thank you all for coming from a long distance away or a short distance away to celebrate my parents' 50th anniversary. And we have a little presentation and a couple stories to give you. Yes.
Speak.
Hi everyone, I know most of you. I'm Chris. I'm #3, best for last, right?
We'd like to take you down a trip of memory lane. And this is my father with his soapbox car, 1951, I believe, right? 1951. And so as it all, worked out, the three of us, all enjoyed soapbox derby with my dad building cars and spending many hours in the basement. And we're just going to show you a few of these pictures right here. This is me with my dad. I'm about 10 years old in the front. And there's my car being built, the two along the corners, and then the last one was sponsored by Big Book Building Center, and we took second in the city in 1978. And I just wanted to thank my dad. For all the good times that we had.
All right, you're going to hear a soapbox derby theme here. I prepared short remarks. I was the third and last person to go through the soapbox process, so I learned from all of their trials and errors. And so here up here, what you see is this beautiful car here. Never mind the crooked bowl cut or the thick glasses. Look at the car. This thing is an element of beauty. So Dad asked me, well, what do you want to build? And I said, I want to build a car that looks like A-Team. I'm not sure if any of you remember the A-Team TV series that went on, and I think I wrote it down here, 83 to 87. I wanted to make this thing look exactly like the A-Team band. Hence the red and black. Well, to give you a sense of how long this is no Pinewood Derby, which you can make in maybe a weekend. This is a month. A lot of labor goes into this. And I remember when Dad and I built this car, you can see right here the little opening where I have to sit into. When we started building this, months later when we finished, I couldn't fit into it because I'd grown so much. So we had to take a rasp and we had to sort of chisel out the sides so that I could actually fit in it. I tell you, I was so proud of this car. It was just great. So when we raced in Racine, we were doing really good, and we felt like this is the time. If you won in Racine, you would get to go to Akron, Ohio, to race in the national championships. And we were doing good, and I ended up crashing and then taken away in an ambulance. And long story short, I was okay. But I remember Dad coming up to me and saying, "Chris, we can rebuild it. You can race your last race." And I said, "No, I'm just too scared." And I remember sort of kicking myself. I'm like, I know Dad was disappointed that, hey, we had a shot, we had a winter car. But at the end of the day, it didn't really matter because what? It didn't matter if we won or lost. It was that we built the winner and we shared these memories together.
Well, I was the first one to go through the process. And like they said, spent countless hours in the basement working on these things with Dad. I think as a direct result of it, I'm not afraid to use power tools at all, much to my wife's chagrin sometimes. Do you know what you're doing? I got this, I got this. You know, I've only electrocuted myself, what, 12, 13 times? So, again, as a result of all this time spent in the basement working with power tools, I don't shy away from it. I really want to thank Dad for that. I mean, I feel like I have, you know, this set of skills that I can pass on to my children. But the one skill that I really have was the use of something Chris referred to, the rasp. I don't know, does anybody know what a rasp is? It's like a really rough file. And you would use this thing to chop out major sections of wood or sort of, where you didn't want to sand, you'd use this rasp to just get in there and get it done. Now the rasp we had did not have a handle on it. Okay, so this rasp really, it would gouge into your hands, and Dad would be like, get there, get the rasp out and get that part right there. I'm like, but it's hurting my hands, Dad. Just rasp that part right there. I'm stronger for that, you know. I broke the handle of our rasp to give to my boy. I just broke it off. I go, handle. Come on, get in there and get it done. As I started to think about this, I thought, you know what? That rasp is a metaphor. It's a metaphor that my father taught us about life. And there were times in your life when you just had to get in there and grab that rasp. And sometimes it hurt. But the end result was always something beneficial. And I want to really thank you for that. So we have a little trophy here to present you with.
Last year was a gold medal.
So what we have here is the actual rasp on a trophy. This is the Golden Rasp Award for his 50th Golden Anniversary.
I suspect you found that in my tool cabinet, right? Yeah. I hadn't seen this thing for a long time, but now that it's here, I'm going to use it again. Thank you, guys.
All right, we also have a trophy for Mom here, too. So, how would I start this one? You know that Mom has a strong feeling about desserts and dessert-related things. We all know this, right? That if there's a cookie to be had, she's gonna get her hands on it. And I think this picture is testimony to that. You know, there's some batter left on those egg beaters. I'm gonna get all that. So. Here's a picture of my 4th birthday. And as we were looking at this last night, I got to thinking about how much I love my mom. I was thinking about all the stories I can share about what kind of experiences I had growing up and what she's meant to me. I didn't have a rasp. You know, there was no rasp involved in our relationship. And so I started to think about one of the things that stuck in my head was when I was a teenager, when I was about probably 12 or so, I had this problem. I didn't know when you were having a one-to-one when you're face-to-face with someone, you were talking to them, where you were supposed to look at a person. I had a conversation with a guy that just stared right in my eyes, and it was so disturbing. I'm like, is that how you should do it? Should you just stare right in their eyes? Where should you look? And I was so distraught about this, so I don't know what to do. And it went on for, it seemed like months, but it was probably days. And I thought, I was just in a panic over how to have a conversation with someone. And I thought, So I was in my bedroom, and Mom came down, and she said, "What's the matter, honey?" I said, I was just in tears. I go, I don't know where to look at someone when you're having a conversation. Do you look at their eyes? She put her arm around me, and she said, "You know what, honey? You look at their eyes, you look at their mouth, and then you look, sometimes I look over their head, and then I look at their ear, and then I look at their feet." And I was like, "Oh, okay, good. I can do this now." And that was just, that advice has always stuck in my head. And I knew that if I was getting advice from Mom about any interpersonal relationship like that, it was better than anything Dr. Phil could give you, anything that anybody could give, because that woman knows about conversation, the art of conversation. So thank you, Mom.
Well, this is me, the cutest of the sons. Mom was pushing me there. This is back in Ohio. And I think one of us broke our arm on this thing. I don't know who, was that you? Karen. One of our cousins. Here's Mom pushing us. That's me in the bottom with Andy on the top. You know, she always, wanted us, to excel at whatever we did. And she loved to bake. That's one thing that I remember about Mom. Were all the birthday cakes, that she, put together. Last night I went through about 1,000 slides to, find these select few. And there were probably about a dozen of birthday cakes. And she taught me a lot through life. So I want to thank you, Mom.
All right, I'm going to try to hold it together. I doubt it. So bear with me if I got to pause. All right, there's me. It went all downhill after that. You saw the soapbox derby picture, right? It wasn't good. I got a quote. A mother's love for her child is like nothing else in this world. I'll tell you, Mom embodied that. I'll give you a quick story that sort of sums that up. So the other night, we're at home, sitting around. We go in the basement, we get all the trophies out. Soapbox trophies, wrestling trophies, your certification for your training at Speedway gas station right over there. We had some proud moments, I'll tell you this. So, one trophy out of all of them stood out. It's a very simple trophy. It's a simple story. It's a swimmer with my name on it, named Chris. The story behind it isn't very spectacular, but there were no winners or losers in this fight, but it was spectacular because this story embodies everything that Mom's about. Most of you probably know Mom can't swim. Terrified of the water, just deathly terrified of the water. Well, one of her goals for her boys was to make sure that we could swim so that we would not have the fear that she had. I don't know how many swimming classes we went through, but we appreciate that, right? Coming home one time, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 years old, and I had failed my swimming test. I was dejected, I wasn't going to move up another level. Not very happy about it. A couple days pass, Mom comes home with this. Chris, she says something very simple to me. Hey, Chris, you know what? It's okay. You get them next time. So, I begrudgingly took the trophy. I was like, that's sort of corny, Mom. I was still, I still knew that I had sort of lost that battle in my life. But it's okay. Well, now I sit back and I think about it 30 years later. Now I get it. This is the perfect example for what Mom was for us. She was always there for us. She loved us, supported us, no matter what. no matter what the circumstance was or the outcome. For that, we're grateful. So, with that being said, we have something for you, Mom. Come on up. We want to present you with this, shows our love for you and appreciation for all that you've done for us. So it's similar to the Chris. This one just says Sandy on it. That's all. That's exactly what it is. The Golden Sandy Trophy is really what we're going to name this. So that's it for the storytelling. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We spent a lot of time thinking about that. So. Happy 50th, guys. Okay, so we're gonna do cake cutting right now, and we'll start. You guys can funnel up here. We'll do the cake cutting, and then we'll just put on a video, and you can watch the video while you're eating the cake. Okay? Found out what you come up with. Cut the cake.
You gotta go first.
Everybody. They should have passed it around.